Taiwan. I'm Ethan Lieyu with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. This week, Taipei hosted the Asia Blockchain Summit focused on blockchain and AI technologies. The event featured a full-day summit led by Taiwan's former digital minister, Audrey Tang. Known as the Plurality Summit, discussions focused on how to use technology to improve democracy. Joining Tang on stage was American actor and founder of media platform Hit Record, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. TaiwanPlus reporter Chris Gorin sat down for an exclusive interview with Gordon-Levitt to talk about his trip to Taiwan and views on technology and democracy.
So I understand this is your first time in Taiwan. What brings you here this time?
My first time ever in Taiwan. I'm so happy to be here. I was invited here by Audrey Tang, whose book Plurality has just come out. It's one of my favorites that I've read in a long time. It makes me optimistic about the future of technology and democracy in ways that I haven't felt in years, to be honest. And when she invited me, I jumped at the chance.
Yeah, well, you shared the stage with her at the Plurality Summit. Tell us some takeaways from the summit that you found.
Speaking as an American, in my country, people's faith in democracy is at a low point, sadly enough. People don't believe as much in the institutions of democracy and the idea that the people can really be a part of governing themselves. It's the whole idea of the United States of America. And here in Taiwan, we're seeing an example of people genuinely, legitimately having a say in what their government does. The systems that Audrey has designed and implemented here in Taiwan, I think, have allowed people here to come together over their differences, have productive discussions, find consensus, and have those ideas ultimately make their way into government and policy. It's incredible to see. It's really uplifting for me.
Was there any of the particular, platforms or steps that Audrey had proposed that you'd like to see implemented back in the States?
Yeah, well, for example, social media that's coming out of Silicon Valley in the United States, it really amplifies differences. It amplifies people hating each other, arguing with each other. Why? Because arguing and that kind of thing tends to make more money for their advertising models. But the sort of equivalent social media systems that Audrey's put in place here in Taiwan actually amplify consensus. You get more attention on the feed. Your post is more likely to rise to the top on the social network if you're helping build bridges, not if you're helping tear the other one down. That kind of simple change can really make a big difference. And when I first heard Audrey describing it, I found it so remarkable that I wanted to learn more.
So your company, Hit Record, actually produced a pretty popular video here in Taiwan called Lost in Taiwan in 2020. And that was a collaboration of 150 different artists. Tell us, what does the process for a collaborative film like that look like?
Well, that short film, Lost in Taiwan, it's funny, people have asked me here, it was so welcome back to Taiwan because you shot that short film in Taiwan. And in fact, this is my first time here in Taiwan. And we did produce that short film, but I wasn't here shooting it. It was made in a different way on this online platform where people were coming together on our website, and different people wrote different lines about their experience of Taiwan. I think a lot of those writers were people from here who lived here. And then different actors would perform those lines, and different people would shoot video around the country and contribute all of those things together. And eventually they all got edited together into the montage short film.
Yeah, and the business model actually includes a way to kind of pay all of these people in a fair way. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's one of the things that bothers me most about some of the bigger internet platforms is we all contribute our data, we contribute our content to these platforms, and Facebook, etc. They make lots of money by putting ads on our content that we created, but they don't compensate generally.
And you came out with this op-ed last year in the Washington Post saying that there needs to be more of a legal and technical way for people to get paid for their contributions to these generative AI models. Now we're a year past that op-ed. Do you think we've gotten any closer to that kind of model?
I think we have gotten closer, but we're certainly not there yet. I think we've gotten closer in that people are starting to take notice. People are starting to pay attention and ask questions. How are these AI models built? oh, everybody's data is going into these models? Well, did they get everybody's permission for that? And if they're making a bunch of money from these models, are they going to pay the people whose data was used to build the models? These questions, I think, are starting to be asked, and asking the question is the first step to getting the answer.
Do you have any other plans to make films in Taiwan?
I would love to. Yeah, well, it's been really inspiring being here, talking to Audrey and the enormous, lovely community that she's introduced me to, the GovZero community and the V-Taiwan community. And I do think it would be really inspiring to make a film about some of these ideas and these communities.
That was actor Joseph Gordon-Levitt speaking with TaiwanPlus reporter Chris Gorin. The Foreign Ministry has criticized former Australian Prime Minister Paul Keating for calling Taiwan Chinese real estate in an interview. Keating said Australia's alliance with the U.S. makes the country a target for China and said Taiwan is not a key Australian interest. The Foreign Ministry says Taiwanese and Australian strategic interests are aligned, that Keating's words won't change the fact of Taiwan's sovereignty, and that Taiwan will continue strengthening cooperation with Australia. Relatives of Vietnamese refugees killed off a Taiwan-governed island in 1987 are in Taiwan to call for their lost family members to be reburied. Though the full facts around what happened are not known, these relatives say they have come not for retribution, but to ensure dignity for those they lost. Louise Watt has the story.
It's over 37 years since soldiers on the Taiwan-governed island of Lieyu opened fire on a boat full of Vietnamese refugees. The military says 20 people died, including women and children, but relatives of those killed say the number was actually 24. This sensitive island, just kilometres from the Chinese coast, was then closed off to outsiders. But even under the rules of the day, the soldiers stationed there were supposed to arrest and deport intruders, not attack them. Those responsible for the killings were court-martialed, and the military has offered an apology. But questions remain about the full facts of the incident. Now, relatives of those killed are at the site of the massacre, accompanied by military personnel. They say they want closure and a dignified reburial for those who died.
Tôi không đến đây để nhằm mục đích lên án chính phủ hoặc quy trách nhiệm cho bất kỳ cá nhân nào trong vụ án này. Tôi tin chắc rằng chính phủ Đài Loan và nhân dân Đài Loan sẽ có hành động cụ thể để an ủi những nạn nhân trong vụ án này.
One member of Taiwan's government watchdog, Gao Yung-cheng, says that's not enough.
我觉得家属有权利要求真相，国王不能够在这个6个月、半年内他能够再提出一个行政调查报告。
They say a new look into the killings is the way to answer lingering questions and offer closure to the relatives of those who lost their lives. Luffy Lee, John Van Trieste and Louise Watt for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's Thai Body Theater has brought a taste of indigenous culture to Paris this summer. The troupe is among over 120 artists participating in the Cultural Olympiad taking place alongside the Olympic Games. Thai Body Theater performed a piece inspired by a novel by Ising Suayong, who is also a member of the troupe. The performance portrays the traditional life of the Paiwan people, preserving their heritage through music passed down through generations. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Before we go, say hello to pandas Yunchuan and Xingbao, who arrived from China at San Diego Zoo in June. I'm Ethan Liu. Take care, and I'll see you next time.